Don't blink, it's your Blank. Welcome to a movie review. We haven't done one in a while, and the movie that we're reviewing is actually a really good movie. So we're reviewing Edge of Tomorrow. It is early morning. We got a tower here. We're also filming nature, which is gorgeous. We're having a sip of coffee because it's still very early in the morning, which explains the sunrise. Edge of Tomorrow movie with Tom Cruise, right? Edge of Tomorrow is this amazing story. So when I was at work, right? You guys know about listening to music at work, and it's kind of funny because the very first thing that I did at work was to listen to music, right? And then we listened to music for a year and a half, 2 years. And then we started listening to podcasts, and then we listened to podcasts for a year. And then for the rest of the 8 years, I wanted to do some audiobook. So some of the audiobook was a lot of light novel, a lot of mangas. Because again, you can find them for free on YouTube, right? And then I found one of them, and I forgot the name. But it was really good. It was about a guy that would revive, and it was this person called the Formidable Bitch, and she was the strongest warrior in the class against a common enemy, right? So I'm listening to this, and it's 5 hours, and it's great. And then for some reason, I don't remember why, I can't find the file anymore, right? Forget about this movie. So 3 years ago, right, we watched this movie again. But at this time, we're trying to make content. I'm not really reviewing stuff, right? So I don't really think about it. And then I watched it last week because it's a great movie for the third time, right? And because I'm in a position where I'm focusing to analyze and to recap it, I realized how similar the story is. So this was all based on All I Need Is Kill. And it's a great story. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, it's Tom Cruise. You know how I feel about Tom Cruise. Okay, cool. I understand. I understand that's somebody's personal belief. Oh, am I recording? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. I understand that somebody's personal belief, even though they're non-religious, can be offensive to you guys, right? I don't care what you think about, what you believe in, as long as you believe in something, right? Right? You gotta believe in something. You gotta believe in something written in yourself. If you're the best thing that you believe in, there's no hope to climb. There's no hope to achieve more. There's no hope for improvement, right? That being said, the movie, what is the movie technically? Technically, the movie is there's a guy who kills a phenomenal being, and that phenomenal being ends up being super important. So why is the phenomenal being so important is because it gives them time-traveling powers, right? So every single day he dies, right? He gets to revive, he gets to revive, he gets to revive, he gets to revive. And it's a classic Groundhog Day. So he gets to revive, and then he fixes his mistakes. He fixes what he has done wrong. He fixes A, B, and C until he realizes that no matter what, he won't be able to fix everything, right? So then he starts asking for help. And then they understand what's the problem. They have to fight this Omega. So what is really cool here is a system of... Oh, frack. The phone is too hot. The phone is too hot. So we're wasting precious second. That's what I don't like, you know? The phone gets too hot. It's not about how much we can do. It's how much we possibly can do. I follow the wolf pack. There's the beta, which we're fighting. There's the alpha, which is the guy, the creature that he fought. And there's the omega, which is in charge of everything, right? So it's a system that is fine, extraterrestrial, but it's still very human or very nature-like. So this is something I really enjoyed. But in this odd case, it's also a story of, well, I'm the only guy that knows what's gonna happen, and I gotta get people to believe in me. So at first he's lucky. He meets a formidable bitch, and she believes him because she had the power. and then she helps him get a doctor. And at the very end, the answer was, and that's what I love about the movie, right? The movie is actually really good, really really good. What I love about the movie is at the very end, he realizes it's platoon because it's again it's army, right? His platoon was the answer to the day one. If he could have convinced them to help him, he would have won. At the end, that's what happened, right? But then, I thought about fighting the Omega. The most of the movie is fighting the Omega, which just take away from the story. I would have preferred a story where we get to analyze the mimics a bit more, right? Versus we're just looking for the specific one. Let's understand the race, right? And the great thing with about the movie is that the whole time, right? The whole time, we get a guy that revives, right? And then we get to revive and revive and revive. And it's very clever narrative plot where they're saying that the guy understand and we don't understand them. So then you realize that the only reason you understand those things is because he saw them, right? And you realize that the reason he saw them is because there's a lot of time where he died and we didn't see him. And then you just ask yourself, how many times does he die? And it's not really answered in the movie, but it's it's up to you to decide, right? Was it 405, 500 times, right? It's a classic Doctor Strange multiverse. So the movie is really good. The fact that it takes its inspiration from a manga is once again phenomenal, because manga has such a rich story sometimes, and they have this rich story sometimes, but at the same time, it's a bit odd, right? It's a bit odd because when you look at it, it's rare that we have a manga that's so small. This movie is like 2 hours, so it's not that much. But again, the movie is great. The acting is great. We got Emily Blunt, the wife of John Krasinski, or the ex-husband of Pamela Beasley, or Pam, for people that know her. I don't really have a problem with the movie. It does feel... How can I say that? The movie in itself feels a bit... a bit unfocused, to be honest, because the movie starts off and it's funny, right? And then the movie started off as this quest to find something, right? And then it becomes about this guy. And what I just said, and I mean this, I like the fact that they had this kind of hero that saw it time and time again, right? And the whole purpose of his journey is, I'm the only guy that knows what to do, right? But then at the same time, we have this guy who is kind of a mess, I'm tired, so I'm nervous. We have the normal Tom Cruise casting, which is a bit of a silly guy. Think about Mission Impossible, think about The Mummy, right? This is what he is. This is always the same role that he's playing. And it's not because, although every single trip to the past and to the front doesn't really matter. What does matter is the change of the character. He is the main character, so when there's character development, you want to see it, right? So that's a bit missing. He started off as being funny, then he becomes this very strong. So what I'm trying to say is, narratively speaking, there's a bunch of benefit to it, right? So we're going the Matrix route, which is basically, I'm going to take a character called Nero, and I'm going to train him. I don't really need to train him because I can just download the system in his head, right? In this case, we have this guy who's okay fighter, right? And then he becomes a really good fighter. And then we didn't really need to see the training, but we get to see that he's stronger and he's better, right? Because we get to see that he's strong and better, and better chance of survival, right? And that's the main plot of the movie. That's what's great. The main plot of the movie is that, okay, well, I'm living the same day every single day. How far can I get? How far can I get each day until I reach the finish line, right? That's the important part. But the sad thing is, there's also this psyche. Evolution, right? Now, the craziest thing is, if you look at the narratively speaking, right? You got a full metal bitch. And the full metal bitch, she's that way because she killed 1,000 of people, right? She's not 1,000 people, but 1,000 of these bad creature. But people hate her because she was the only survivor. But then you realize And you realize that the guy's doing the same thing. So you got algebra, you got mathematics, right? So the enemy is x, right? The fact that you're able to reborn to be reborn every single day is y. X plus y equates to the character, right? The character, call him C, call him B, doesn't really matter, right? So you got a final character, right? Now the problem is, how does this character react to the equation, right? For example, right? For example, I'm gonna do 2 plus 3 equal 5, right? And I'm gonna do another one, 2.2 plus 3 equal 5, right? Now what's the difference? Well, one of the 5 is a ton, and one of the 5 is a kilo, right? So a ton is a lot more, right? But the equation and the thing are the same thing. So it's the value that you get from it, right? In the case of the girl, she understood that she couldn't save everybody, and that a victory was a lot more. In the case of the guy, and this is what I kind of like about the movie in itself, is the very first morning, everybody dies, and he's trying to save them, and he's kind of saved them little by little by little, right? And it's kind of funny because they need a big moment that was a turnaround point. So because of the lack of narrative, as the character developed, you kind of create your own, right? So one of the moments for me was there's this general, right? And the general doesn't like gambling, right? And then at first he knows that they're gambling, and instead of protecting them, he just get discovered, right? But at the end, he's like, yo, he hides a pack of cards. So the reason why he hides a pack of cards, and the reason why this is so good, is because he finally understands that those people, he can help them, can save them, and can help them, right? And it doesn't matter if they're dying at the end, at least he's helping them, right? And I think this is the beauty of the manga also, because if you know the manga is how a coward, which is the main character, was able to save the world, right? The coward, I think it's what's amazing is the heroic journey. So naturally, I'm getting stronger. So if you're a nerd just like me, you know what's battle IQ, BIQ, right? Barbecue. Battle IQ is how strong you get and how much experience you get. And for example, I know if I duck here, I know how to recharge faster. I know how to take out my gun faster. I know how far I can shoot. I know how to use the scope better. I got some training, right? So in this case, it's not necessarily the guy becoming a hero, but the guy stop being a coward, right? And it's the constant evolution, right? And there's instances, for example, right? One of the beautiful thing is they meet this character, right? And they meet these characters, and the main character, which is Tom Cruise, is cocky. So they meet this character, right? And this character is stubborn, and he doesn't believe them. And Tom Cruise knows that, but he's cocky, right? And he's able to manipulate his way. He's able to manipulate his way. And also, I think we all love that. I think we just saw Devil May Cry, which was fantastic. We talk about Drake Uncharted, Nathan Drake. We think about Wolverine, think about Deadpool, you think about a lot of anti-hero, right? You start have this character that you're supposed to hate, and then they becoming heroic, right? And it's not true heroic action, but it's true saving the day, right? And it's nuts because at the end, does he save the day? Yes. Does it matter? No. No, why? Because if it wasn't for the power, he would have not been able to. And that is the kind of duality of the movie, and the duality of the movie, which is kind of important itself, right? So you got a hero, and again, I watched it 3 times, and now that I'm doing a review, I'm thinking about it, I'm brainstorming about it, right? So you got this character who, yes, has a heroic journey, start from being a coward to being a hero, right? But then it doesn't matter because the only reason, it's not strength that made him, it's experience, right? So it's like playing the same game or playing the same game of chess every single time, and the other player, right, does the same move day after day after day after day. Now there's gonna be one time where you're gonna be understanding the whole game, because you understand the whole game, you win, but you didn't really win. You cheated, right? Still, you have to say heroic act, and you feel like you cheated. Now the question of there's no edge of tomorrow. The question of it is, does it really matter? Did I save the day? One of my favorite game ever, Majora's Mask, which is the same concept of time traveling, right? And it's super important. Why? Because we have this hero called Link. See what I did there? And this hero, right? He goes into this land, right? And he doesn't really understand what's going on, right? Ooh. There you go. There you frickin' go. Dude. That is so good. Okay. Good. Now the phone should be colder. We were able to finish that. Yes. Fuck yeah. So what we're doing is we're editing, right? Because it takes less space. Which hell yeah. We love these. Because right now we were editing, we were filming, and we were also doing, well, we're doing the most. Editing, filming, and recording, right? So now we get a position where I'm only filming and recording, and hopefully this is gonna make the phone cold enough for me to continue. Anyway, that's not the issue. That's not the subject. The subject is once again Edge of Tomorrow with Link, right? One of my favorite games. If you look at my tattoos, I got this one, Majora's Mask, and I got this one. Now I know I'm fat. However, right? We're on the way to lose weight. So if you don't believe in this, so in the game, and it's a nice thing because those two are directly parallel. You got the era of Link, and Link is a hero versus the era of, I don't even know the main character fucking name. I think it's Capital Cage, some shit like that, right? And he's not a hero. Well, Link, as a hero, he's trying to save everybody, right? He's trying to save everybody, and he's trying to save. And then the game is about maturing and overcoming obstacle. And the biggest obstacle that he has is understanding that no matter what he does, he will not be able to save everybody, right? So he's gonna save them in a different timeline. And you basically get the narrative, but you're always coming back. You always have 3 days, right? And at the end is, well, I wasn't able to save everyone, but I saved Termina, saved the world. So it gives a shit, right? That was the Edge of Tomorrow is, right? It feels, what I'm trying to say, I think the idea I'm trying to transpire to you guys is that it feels a bit underwhelming. See, you take a character and you make him a hero, right? And you take a character and you say, you know what? You don't have a choice. You're gonna be the hero, right? And the character kind of understand that it was inside him the whole time, right? He was always a hero, right? So the hero journey was the journey of destiny. It was supposed to be like that, right? But in our case, it does feel like the only reason that why this guy is doing is because there's no other hopes, right? So there's even this part, and the reason why I'm insisting so much on the non-hero, there's a moment, right? And he has this character, which is Emily Blunt, which is a formidable bitch, right? And she get hurt, right? And we're looking for keys for a chapter, right? And they're looking for keys, and he knows exactly what the keys are, and he hides them, right? And then the reason I give is like, yo, you never make it out. Never make it out alive. So your whole plan was to save the world. Then when you have a chance to save the girl, which there's no romantic interest in, they're not together, right? You don't do it. So what was the point? So, and again, this is shitty, but also quite realistic, right? So you're getting those same days, and you're getting further and further and further. And then you really know those people, right? Now the question that I wanted to ask, and I think it's an important question, is, did he give up? I think there's a lack of information. That's what makes it amazing. Did he give up? Like, I'm gonna live the best day ever. I'm only gonna live one day. I'm gonna make it the best day ever. Versus I'm gonna save the world, right? And then one of the interesting plot points is, he gets injured and they're transfusing blood into him. Because they're transfusing blood into him, he cannot revive. I know it's really smart. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.